Introduction. Overview of self-healing. The power of belief in physical health. Significance of placebo effects and visualization techniques. The science behind the placebo effect. Definition and history of placebo. Mechanisms, brain and mind-body connection. Scientific studies supporting placebo's efficacy. Neurobiological mechanisms, how thoughts influence health. The psychology of placebos. Cognitive and emotional factors in placebo response. Patient expectations, trust and conditioning. Placebo as a tool for mental and physical recovery. Self-healing through visualization. What is visualization? The mind-body connection through imagery. Visualization techniques, guided imagery, mental rehearsal, etc. Studies on visualization in sports and medicine. How visualization can trigger physiological changes. Placebos and visualization in practice. Case studies, real-life examples of self-healing. Combining visualization and placebos for powerful healing. When and how individuals can use these tools in daily life. Barriers to self-healing, the role of doubt. Mental resistance, how self-doubt undermines healing efforts. Overcoming skepticism to harness placebo and visualization effects. The importance of consistency and commitment in visualization practices. The ethics of using placebo and visualization in healing. Ethical concerns in medical practice, when is placebo ethical? The use of visualization in therapeutic settings. Balancing personal belief and scientific understanding. The future of placebos, visualization and self-healing. Emerging research, where is science going? The potential for integration into mainstream medicine. Technological advances, virtual reality and AI-guided visualization techniques. Conclusion. The power of the mind in self-healing. How individuals can take control of their health using placebo effects and visualization. Final thoughts on the relationship between belief, mind, and body in healing. Now that we have a clear structure, I'll start with the introduction and the science behind the placebo effect to get things rolling, and we can keep going from there. 1. Introduction. Self-healing is a profound concept that connects the mind's power with the body's ability to recover from illness or injury. Historically, many cultures have acknowledged the ability of the human mind to influence the physical body. Modern science, however, is just beginning to understand how this works, especially through phenomena like the placebo effect and practices like visualization. The placebo effect is a compelling example of the mind's influence over physical health. It occurs when a person experiences a perceived improvement in their condition after receiving an inactive substance or treatment, simply because they believe it is effective. The belief itself becomes a powerful agent in triggering real physiological changes. In parallel, visualization techniques harness the power of mental imagery to promote physical healing. When people vividly imagine their bodies healing or overcoming obstacles, the mind communicates with the body to bring about real changes. This exploration will delve into how these phenomena, placebos and visualization, can be used intentionally for self-healing, providing insights into how people can tap into their inner potential to improve their health and well-being. 2. The science behind the placebo effect. The placebo effect has been documented for centuries, but it wasn't until the 20th century that modern science began to explore its mechanisms. The term placebo comes from the Latin "I shall please," reflecting the idea that simply pleasing the mind with the belief that something beneficial is occurring can result in real therapeutic benefits. Definition and history of placebo. The placebo effect occurs when a patient experiences a perceived improvement in their condition after receiving a treatment that has no therapeutic value. The placebo could be a sugar pill, saline injection, or even an inert procedure like sham surgery. While these interventions are physically inactive, the belief in their effectiveness often leads to tangible health improvements. This can be particularly seen in conditions such as chronic pain, depression, and anxiety, where the psychological and emotional components of the condition heavily influence the experience of symptoms. The history of placebo treatments dates back to ancient times, with early records suggesting that sham treatments were used by physicians who understood the psychological power of belief in healing. However, it was not until the 1950s that the placebo effect gained scientific attention. In 1955, Henry Beecher, a physician, published a landmark study showing that placebos could produce real improvements in patient health. This study helped establish the placebo effect as a legitimate topic of scientific investigation. Mechanisms, brain and mind-body connection. The placebo effect is largely a result of the brain's interaction with the body. It begins with the expectation of improvement. When patients believe a treatment is effective, their brain activates pathways involved in pain reduction, mood regulation, and immune system function. Neurotransmitters like endorphins and dopamine, which play crucial roles in pain relief and mood elevation, are released. This biochemical response mirrors that of actual pharmacological treatments, suggesting that the brain can produce its own healing chemicals. Research also points to the involvement of the expectation effect, where the brain's anticipation of a positive outcome triggers neural changes that influence the body's functioning. Studies using brain scans have shown that placebos can activate areas of the brain associated with healing, like the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in decision-making, motivation, and expectation. Additionally, studies have shown that patients who believe they are receiving a powerful treatment often experience real physical changes. The body, believing it is being treated, can undergo biochemical and physiological transformations, even in the absence of an active drug. This highlights the profound mind-body connection at the heart of the placebo effect.